make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, man. It's gonna sound weird, but it works. Um, you can use Ancestry.com and these DNA sites to find your other family. And what I mean by that is this. For some of y'all who might have these issues with not knowing who your biological father is, or if you're like adopted and and you want to find out who your other family is, you might want to try using those ancestry tests. Because what happens is, it's just a byproduct of this stuff, right? What happens is they give you a list of names, people you're related to, cousins, siblings, and they do it with the DNA samples, right? So if you see a bunch of last names that you don't know of, you're probably related to those people, you know. And some of y'all, it's unfortunate to say this, but you know, some of y'all might find out your daddy ain't your daddy. It depends on how far back you go, but and some of you might come up on this by mistake. But I'm just telling you it exists because, like in some families, they kind of like, look, everybody knows what's going on, but maybe they didn't tell the kid, or maybe the kid knows, but then they look and they might have said, this other person is supposed to be your father, but that person winds up not being your father. It's somebody else. So just know it could happen. You could find your other side of the family, because I look at these paternity shows, right? And when you have these paternity shows, you see how people, in some way, who you are not the father, and you are not the father. And instead of going out and trying to embarrassing yourself, or feeling embarrassed, or having to ask all these questions, you might want to save yourself the aggravation and just do that. Find out who you're related to. Now the other thing is, I don't know how at some point it's going to go further and further back, but even with the FBA thing, right? You can trace your family lineage back so far, and even if there's a a quote unquote white side of the family that goes back to a certain time period, you can say, hey, for one, FBA, for two, I need these reparations, player, because your family owe me, player. But as part of what's going on, I would say use it, But now on the other side, on the flip side of that, I'm telling you this because what if you wind up taking it, looking for something else, and you find out this information? It might be a shock to your system. You might I just want to see, how far my lineage goes back and which part of Africa I'm from, or this, that, and the third. And you wind up finding out, you got family across town, and then it's like, what the heck? Like, this is not what I signed up for. Well, it's not what you signed up for, but it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. So get prepared for that. So it could work for you, it can work against you. And for a lot of the people, this might wind up opening up a lot of can of worms. Because I I was kind of with a family member about this, and I said, my grandmother, before she died, she used to always watch more Povich, the You Are Not the Father shows. And I was like, why do you watch this stuff? Why is this so funny to you? And her response was, baby, back in my day, we had to tell, if we told a man he was a father, he had to believe us. So for all the families, who have somebody who have 80, 70, 60-year-old people in it, listen, you might turn over the table, okay? This might cause a lot of rifts in the family that you didn't intend, but I'm telling you so you understand. Like, on one end, use this to your advantage if nobody's giving you the information you want. And on another end, beware of this because something might happen that's a punch to the gut. So I don't know a nice way to tell you. I don't know a mean way to tell you. I'm not trying to say it in a mean way, but know it exists. Know it exists. You know. But I don't know what happened. But peace.